makes with clay. And in the days of these kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom that shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people. It shall break in pieces and consume all of these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. Inasmuch as you saw that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and it broke into pieces the iron, the bronze, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great God has made known to the king what will come to pass after this. The dream is certain, and its interpretation is sure. Boom. Okay, stop right there, please, for a second. So, guys, historically, just so you know, okay, so here's some other things about the book of Daniel. The book of Daniel is very, very, very deep with these types of things of interpretations. The wording, all these different kinds of things. Guys, end-time viewers and this-time viewers and that-time viewers have taken this book along with the book of Revelations and done a whole lot of things with it, okay? Here's what I'll tell you historically, okay? I have no doubt that there are things within the book of Daniel that was, that is, and that will be. Just like in the book of Revelations, you know, everything in the book of Revelations, has it happened? Yes, it has. Is it happening? Yes. And will it be? Yes. So in the book of Daniel, guys, it's really a lot of the same. Now, people are like, oh, well, you look at like this group and that group and how these nations and blah, 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 including America itself. And guys, don't get me wrong. There are scary things. But this is what's true. Nebuchadnezzar's reign was one of the greatest. The king after him was strong, but not as strong as he. The king after him was also strong, but not as strong as he. The kingdom after that tried to meddle in with different groups. And in that, they said that they did not need to serve God any longer or recognize him as God in tithes and offerings. Then, some came that were strong and destroyed all of them. It did not mix, though. Then there was a group, and there was this mountain that came that destroyed all of the other. And there was a group of pieces that were broken apart, but went out all over the world and conquered it. There was 12 apostles that went out all over the world and conquered it. Okay? So historically, I can point to the next 3-4 kings right here after him and show you historically, bam, 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 bam. So did it happen? You know one thing that happens with history, though? It repeats itself. So, had it happened already before? Yes, guys, if you look at the days of David, then of Solomon, and then all of a sudden you have the next king, and the next thing you know, they're all back in captivity. Right? Well, what happened the times before that, before they got let up into captivity the first time? It was really the same thing. Now, they didn't have kings at that point. Right? But isn't that what happened? You had a bunch of the boys that all of a sudden started living lost, and then they took their brother, throw him in a pit. That brother gets taken off, and then all of a sudden there was the famine. There was all these. And then they get taken in as they go there. They try to intermix, and they become captive of that. But they didn't really mix. And then God separates them out and takes them to another kingdom, and they conquer. So it had happened. It's happening, and it's still happening. So be careful not to get too caught up in, if you have heard all the different end times views and things like that, be careful not to get too caught up in it. All right? Now, guys, again, is there going to be horrible things in the end times? Are there horrible things going on right now? Were there horrible things going on in this world 10 years ago? And 100 years ago? And 1,000 years ago? And 600 BC? And 1,000 BC? So you get my point. Yeah? The evil has always been evil. And God's people have always been God's people and no more come. Yeah? And at different times, try to mix into the things of this world and then find out that that's not the mixture. Right? So, guys, you know, at the end of all of it, let's just be about seeing people saved. It's my point, I guess. Okay? All right? And not get caught up. That is the kingdom, that the mountain is Jesus Christ that we stand on, that overtakes the entire world. Yeah? And destroyed all those other kingdoms. Yeah? Because the kingdom of Satan was destroyed. And even though he raised up the beast and the false prophet and the great war economy. So even if you looked at, like, there's one king who was really strong, and then there's these other kings. You guys, again, we could play all these analogies, and I'm not saying that they don't work. Does that make sense? But at the same time, historically, it does take place even right then. So don't get caught up in the whole thing like that, man. Just live praising the Lord and enjoying this moment right now. You know, things that we're going through right now, just know that God's going to have victory. What evil is out there, God's already had the victory over. We just got to keep on living it that way and believing it and walking, and we'll see great things just like Daniel does. Okay? So, then, verse 46. And then it happened. And then King Nebuchadnezzar fell on his face. Remember this man who had just told everybody, I will chop you up into pieces. Like, no, I'm not just going to kill you. I'm not just going to cut off your head. I'm going to chop you up into pieces. And I mean, yeah, exactly. A little ear, a little nose, a little bit of a finger, like pieces. And then I'm going to go to your house. And it doesn't just say I'm going to burn down your house, right? Because what would we envision? A house got burned. You envision its roof all caved in, probably, maybe a wall or something. He's like, no, what it will be is nothing but a pile of ash. So I'm not going to just burn. I'm not just going to set on fire. I'm going to make sure we're going to stand there and keep on piling up everything until it's nothing but just ash. I mean, if there was a threat, right? I mean, this guy had it, and he has the power, by the way, and authority to execute it. And I don't think he's making this an idle threat, and they obviously know that when his mind was set, because he makes mention of that multiple times, you understand that I am stating that it is this way, right? How does he say it? The decision is firm. He mentions that 3 times. You understand, right? You get it. Do you think they'd ever heard that from him before? And seen him do whatever he said his decision was when it was firm? You know what I mean? And so I think they were obviously very, very scared. Some of them had lost their lives probably right there in that moment before the guards had gotten out to the rest of them, including Daniel. And then Daniel got it all shut down, and then here we go. So Nebuchadnezzar, this great, powerful authority, falls on his face, prostrate before Daniel, butt in the air, face on the floor, and commanded that they should present an offering and incense to Daniel. This man who just said chopped in pieces and pile of ashes, face in the floor, butt in the air, and all you hear him mumble out is, man, get an offering and incense to this dude. The king answered Daniel, and he said, truly your God is the God of all gods, the Lord of all kings, and the revealer of secrets, since you could reveal this secret to me. Then the king promoted Daniel, gave him many great gifts, and he made him ruler over the whole province of Babylon. The Babylonian Empire. It was a mighty empire, guys. I mean, my God. And he made him the chief administrator over all the wise men of all of Babylon. Now, if I'd have been Daniel right there, I'd have been like, listen. That's a little bit too much for my plate. Especially now after having a lot on my plate. Also, Daniel petitioned the king, and he set Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego over the affairs of the province of Babylon, but Daniel sat in the gate of the king. So, what that means is that when people would come with their problems or their issues, they would come and see Daniel for the answers on how to deal with the issues. So, we got to stop right there. We have about 10, 15 minutes left, guys, but I don't want to press on, because if I do, it's too much. We won't have enough time. So next week we'll come into chapter 3 and maybe even a little bit into chapter 4. I know it's chapter 3 for sure. Now, guys, Daniel is a man of God, yes? He's a man who has been blessed with the wisdom of God, yes? Which means that Daniel knows the promises of God, knows the instructions of God. He is a prophet of God. He is a prophet, yeah? So he knows the scriptures, yes? He knows the happenings of the fathers. He knows the instructions. He knows, the different things that have taken place. He knows history. He understands these things, right? He is a very wise individual. The king recognizes him in such a manner that not only does he place him over the affairs of what's taking place in the whole city. City's not even the right word. The kingdom of the empire, the country. He not only puts him over administration over all of the wise men, which if he puts them over all of the wise men, when people had issues, who did they come to? The wise men. The wise men then would need to go to who to find the answers? And then Daniel's answers would be the answers of what? And so then what are all the people of Babylon getting? God's words. God's answers, God's words. Now, if that is not unbelievably amazing, guys, and this is not the first time that this has happened, right? Joseph was the last one that we see that it's a completely lost, pagan, believing country, but yet his God is the one that's recognized. He gets put in a position of authority to give instructions of what would be God's instructions to the people. Whether you understand this or not, guys, the faith that we get to stand on today would not have been had it not been for Joseph. And if it had not been for Daniel being placed in those pagan countries and bringing God's words. Because just in case you don't remember, in the days of Jesus Christ and the apostles, when they are preaching the gospel, how many times over do we hear different individuals say, I have heard something about that before? Our wise men, or our prophets, once told us of, right? And now we hear it really isolated right there in that area up until what? The day of Pentecost, right? And then you have people coming from all over the world. Yes? These people, the lineage, the passing on of information, of the gospel, of the experience, and the promises, and instructions. Yes? And guys, it's an amazing, amazing feat, the setup that God has in all of it. So, Daniel's just one day, sitting in one position, is only able to address, I don't know how many people in a day, but he's only able to address so much in a day. He's just a person. Are you with me? Hello? Yes. Guys, he's not God. He's just a person. But what does Daniel have? He has God. He's only able to touch so many people. But how many people got touched? The whole kingdom. You might just be one person, and you sure ain't God. But if you love him and you have him and he is your God, then what can God do through you? You have no idea, bringing God's wisdom to one person, what the effect of that might be for generations to come. You have no idea what positive effects we might have had that we don't even aren't even aware of, that God used us for. It would be nice, I guess, all the time to have people tell you all the positive things that they have experienced. Yeah, people are sure quick. If there's anything other that they can see whatsoever or think that they see, they're sure quick for that. So it'd be kind of nice on the other side. But guys, for us, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about any of that. Man, we got to trust in God. We got to trust in our God. Yeah? And then let him go to work. Realize, man, you know what? You might just be one person, but Daniel was just one person. Yeah? And Daniel has an effect, guys. It's going to be unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right? But guys, your effect is unbelievable. You're better than you think you are. You believe him, you love him. If he's your God, you're better than you think you are. Yeah? So stop thinking about you, honestly. Think about God. Yeah? And let God. Yes? Share a little bit of that wisdom. Instead of sharing other things, share the wisdom of God. Yeah? And see what God might work and what God might do. Yes? I love you all. Hope it's been a great class in introduction into Daniel. Felt like we had to at least get that first one in there just to see the impact in Daniel's faith and what the setup is headed for. Yeah? Yeah. I'll start that one on and we'll be here. So guys, I love you all. Have a wonderful night. Go home and get some rest. Thankful for you.